The autumn wind carried a chill as Nicole hesitated outside her in-laws' home. It had been 6 months since she last stepped through their front door, and a knot tightened in her stomach as she anticipated the impending tension. With a deep breath, she pushed the doorbell, and the familiar creak of the door opening signaled the start of an unwelcome reunion. Teresa, her mother-in-law, greeted her with a forced smile that barely masked the underlying tension. "Nicole, dear, so good of you to finally grace us with your presence." Teresa's words dripped with sarcasm as she ushered Nicole inside. Nicole forced a polite smile. "Thank you, Teresa. It's been a while." 6 months to be exact, Teresa replied, her eyes narrowing slightly. "But who's counting?" As Nicole stepped into the living room, she noticed Jack, her husband, sitting uncomfortably on the couch, attempting to avoid eye contact. The strained atmosphere was palpable, and Nicole braced herself for what she knew was inevitable. Teresa wasted no time launching into a series of passive-aggressive comments. "You know, Nicole, it's not healthy for a young couple to spend so much time apart. Your career might be thriving, but what about your marriage?" Nicole took a deep breath, choosing her words carefully. "Teresa, I love my job, and Jack and I are perfectly happy with our choices." Teresa's tone turned icy. "Well, not everyone thinks a woman's place is outside the home, neglecting her responsibilities as a wife." Jack, unable to stay silent any longer, interjected, "Mom, enough. Nicole and I are fine. Let's not ruin the visit with unnecessary drama." But Teresa wasn't deterred. "Fine, fine. We'll see how fine everything is." The tension lingered in the air as Nicole felt the weight of judgment settle upon her shoulders, turning the long-overdue reunion into a battlefield of words and unspoken grievances. The following day dawned with a lingering chill that matched the frosty atmosphere in the household. Nicole awoke to the sound of clinking dishes in the kitchen and the muted murmur of Jack and Teresa engaged in what seemed to be a hushed conversation. Tensions from the previous night still hung thick in the air, casting a shadow over the day. Descending the stairs, Nicole found Teresa in the kitchen, meticulously arranging breakfast as if every plate held an unspoken accusation. Jack sat at the table, avoiding eye contact with both women, a clear sign that the clash of values had not dissipated overnight. "Morning," Nicole greeted, attempting to diffuse the tension. Teresa looked up, her expression a blend of false sweetness and disdain. "Nicole, dear, I've made your favorite eggs. You might need the energy for your busy day of playing with other people's children." Suppressing a sigh, Nicole took a seat, determined to keep the peace. "Thank you, Teresa. I appreciate it." The thinly veiled sarcasm in Teresa's voice persisted. "Of course, dear. I know how demanding your job can be." Jack interjected, attempting to steer the conversation away from dangerous waters. "Mom, let's not start the day like this. Nicole's job is important to her, just like yours was to you." Teresa shot him a stern look. "Jack, dear, I raised you to understand the importance of family. It's a shame your wife doesn't share the same values." Nicole felt her patience waning. "Teresa, my job is important to me, and I make a difference in those kids' lives. I don't need to defend my choices every time I visit." The clash of values reached its peak as Jack tried to mediate. "Mom, Nicole's work is essential to her, just as your beliefs are to you. Can't we find some middle ground?" But Teresa, unwilling to compromise, retorted, "Middle ground? There's no middle ground when it comes to family values. Some people just don't understand that." The tension in the room became suffocating, and Nicole realized that finding common ground with Teresa might be an impossible feat. As the clash of values intensified, the fragile threads holding their relationship together threatened to unravel completely. The days following the clash of values left the household shrouded in an uneasy silence. Nickel and Jack navigated their way through the strained atmosphere, tiptoeing around each other, and the simmering tension that lingered in every room. It was against this backdrop that an unexpected invitation arrived, promising a dramatic turn of events. One evening, as Nicole was sorting through the mail, she came across an ornately decorated envelope. The elegant cursive handwriting revealed it to be from Teresa. Intrigued yet cautious, she opened it to find an invitation, adorned with intricate designs, to a pizza party at the family home. "Jack, come look at this," Nicole called out, holding the invitation in her hands. Jack joined her, eyebrows furrowed in confusion. "A pizza party? Is this some kind of joke?" Nicole scanned the invitation, reading aloud Teresa's words. "Dear Nicole and Jack, I've been reflecting on our recent interactions, and I believe it's time for a heartfelt apology. Join me for a pizza party at our home, where we can put the past behind us and move forward as a family. Sincerely, Teresa." Jack's expression shifted from confusion to skepticism. "An apology? After everything that's happened?" Nicole nodded. "It's unexpected, but maybe she's sincere. We won't know unless we go." Jack hesitated, then sighed. "All right, let's give her a chance. But if this is another one of her schemes, I won't stand for it." The night of the pizza party arrived, and Nicole and Jack approached Teresa's home with a mix of anticipation and caution. The door swung open before they could ring the bell, revealing Teresa, wearing a forced smile that did little to conceal her underlying tension. "Nicole, Jack, how wonderful of you to come," Teresa greeted, gesturing for them to enter. As they stepped inside, the aroma of freshly baked pizza filled the air, and the dining table was adorned with an array of toppings. Teresa motioned for them to take a seat. "Please, help yourselves. Let's enjoy a pleasant evening together." Nicole exchanged a wary glance with Jack, but decided to give Teresa the benefit of the doubt. The family gathered around the table, each slice of pizza carrying the potential for reconciliation or further discord. The unexpected invitation had set the stage for a dramatic evening that would either mend broken ties or unravel them even further. The atmosphere in Teresa's home during the pizza party was a delicate balance of anticipation and skepticism. The aroma of freshly baked pizza hung in the air, and the soft glow of candlelight flickered, creating an illusion of warmth. As Nicole and Jack cautiously partook in the shared meal, an unexpected twist unfolded. Nicole, drawn in by the enticing aroma, reached for a slice of pizza with colorful toppings. Unbeknownst to her, this seemingly innocuous act would lead to a sinister turn of events. As she bit into the pizza, the flavors initially danced on her taste buds, but soon an odd taste caught her attention. "Jack, do you taste something strange in this pizza?" Nicole asked, her brow furrowed in confusion. Jack, halfway through his own slice, paused to consider. "Now that you mention it, there's a bitter aftertaste. Did Teresa try a new recipe or something?" Just as suspicion lingered in the air, Nicole's expression shifted from confusion to discomfort. The odd taste became an alarming realization. Panic washed over her as she clutched her stomach, feeling an unsettling sensation spreading. "Nicole, what's wrong?" Jack exclaimed, concern etched across his face. A wave of dizziness overcame her as she stammered, "Something's not right. The pizza, there's something in it." Teresa, who had been observing the unfolding events with a calculating gaze, maintained her composure. "Oh dear, it must be some misunderstanding. I'll call for help right away." As Nicole's condition rapidly deteriorated, Jack, now panicked, reached for his phone to dial emergency services. Teresa's pretense of concern began to unravel, revealing a more sinister motive beneath her seemingly hospitable facade. Amidst the chaos, Jack's revelation pierced through the confusion. "Wait, Nicole, you're the only one who ate from this particular pizza. Something's not right. It's like she wanted you to eat it." Nicole, weakened and struggling to comprehend the betrayal, whispered, "Intentional? But why?" Teresa, maintaining a facade of innocence, hurriedly explained, "It must be a terrible mistake. I'd never do anything to harm family." As the ambulance sirens wailed in the distance, the realization of a poisonous betrayal settled in the room. The once hopeful evening turned into a nightmare, and the consequences of Teresa's actions set the stage for a family on the brink of collapse. The ambulance rushed Nicole to the hospital, leaving a cloud of uncertainty hanging over Teresa's home. Jack, torn between concern for his wife and suspicions about his mother's actions, followed closely behind. As the hospital staff attended to Nicole, Jack paced anxiously in the waiting area. It was there that a nurse approached him with a mix of sympathy and concern. "Your wife is stable for now, but we're running tests to identify the cause. It seems like a case of food poisoning." Food poisoning. Jack muttered to himself, his mind racing with questions. Suspicion lingered in the back of his thoughts, and he couldn't shake the feeling that this was no ordinary accident. Back at Teresa's home, the unsettling atmosphere thickened. The revelation of intentional harm cast a shadow over the familial bonds that were already strained. Teresa, attempting to salvage the situation, spoke with feigned innocence. "Jack, dear, I can't believe this happened. It must be a terrible mistake. You know how sensitive Nicole is." Jack's gaze hardened as he responded, "Mom, we need answers. Why was Nicole the only one affected? What happened?" Teresa, maintaining a facade, replied with a hint of annoyance, "I don't know, Jack. It's a tragedy, and we should focus on supporting Nicole right now." But Jack wasn't easily swayed. "A tragedy? Or a deliberate act? This can't be a coincidence, Mom. Nicole is my wife, and I need to know the truth." Meanwhile, in the hospital room, Nicole began regaining consciousness. The beeping of the monitor provided a dissonant soundtrack to her groggy awakening. A nurse, noticing her stirring, approached with a warm smile. "You gave us quite a scare there, but you're in good hands now." Nicole, still grappling with the fog of confusion, whispered, "What happened? How did I end up here?" The nurse hesitated, choosing her words carefully. "It appears to be food poisoning. Do you have any idea what might have caused it?" As Nicole struggled to recall the events, the pieces of the unsettling revelation fell into place. She muttered to herself, "The pizza. Teresa." Back at the house, Jack confronted Teresa with newfound determination. "Mom, we can't sweep this under the rug. Nicole mentioned the pizza. What do you know about it?" Teresa's eyes darted nervously, but she maintained her innocence. "I have no idea, Jack. I just wanted to apologize, not harm anyone." But Jack, fueled by a husband's protective instincts, couldn't accept the vague explanations any longer. The unsettling revelation had opened a Pandora's box of family secrets, and the quest for truth had only just begun. In the wake of the poisoning incident, Jack delved into the unsettling web of family secrets that Teresa had carefully concealed. As he sifted through the tangled history, Jace, his father, felt compelled to reveal the truth about Teresa's actions. One evening, Jack sat down with Jace in the quiet confines of a local coffee shop. The air was thick with tension as Jack broached the subject. "Dad, there's something I need to know. Why did Mom poison Nicole? What's really going on?" Jace, weary from years of keeping Teresa's secrets, sighed heavily before responding. "Jack, your mother has a history of manipulation. It goes beyond this recent incident. She's done things in the past, things that I've tried to shield you from. Jack's eyes widened with disbelief. What kind of things? Dad, we need the truth. Jace hesitated, grappling with the weight of his words. Before you met Nicole, there were instances of interference in my life, invasion of privacy. Your mother used to read your mail when you lived on your own. But this recent poisoning, this is a whole new level of manipulation. Jack's shock morphed into a mix of anger and realization. So she's been manipulating our lives for years. Why? What's her endgame? Jace shook his head. I don't know, Jack. It's like she's unable to accept that you're building your own life, separate from her influence. And now, with Nicole in the picture, she might see it as a threat to her control. As Jack absorbed the shocking revelations, he couldn't help but feel a sense of betrayal. The woman he had called Mom was not the person he thought she was. The tangled web of family secrets continued to unravel, exposing a side of Teresa that was both manipulative and dangerous. Back at the hospital, Nicole, now recovering, had her own questions. She confronted Teresa during a tense visit to her room. Teresa, why? Why would you intentionally harm me? What do you have against our marriage? Teresa, cornered but still clinging to a facade of innocence, evaded the questions. Nicole, dear, it was never about you. I just wanted what's best for my family. Nicole, refusing to be deceived any longer, retorted, your definition of best involves control and manipulation. I won't let you ruin our lives any further. The confrontation marked a turning point. The unveiling of family secrets exposed Teresa's true nature, setting the stage for a confrontation that would not only redefine relationships, but also determine the fate of a family torn apart by deceit and manipulation. With family secrets laid bare and betrayal hanging in the air, Jack and Nicole faced a critical decision, whether to confront Teresa legally or attempt reconciliation. The weight of their choices echoed in the courtroom as the legal battle unfolded. As Nicole and Jack consulted with their attorney, a seasoned lawyer named Rachel, the gravity of the situation became evident. Rachel, a no-nonsense woman with a reputation for handling complex family disputes, studied the case files with furrowed brows. Your mother intentionally poisoned you, Nicole. We have a strong case, but legal battles can be emotionally draining, Rachel cautioned. Jack, glancing at Nicole, nodded in agreement. We can't let her get away with this. But what about Dad? He's torn between us and Mom. Rachel sighed. Family dynamics can complicate legal proceedings. We need to establish a clear narrative for the court. Your mother's actions were dangerous and intentional. We'll fight for justice. The courtroom, a stage for the family drama, buzzed with tension as Jack and Nicole sat across from Teresa. The judge, a stern figure presiding over the case, called for order as the legal battle commenced. Teresa's defense attorney attempted to downplay the severity of the poisoning incident, arguing, Your Honor, my client deeply regrets the unfortunate incident. It was an oversight, not an intentional act. Rachel countered with precision, Your Honor, we have evidence that proves otherwise. Nicole was the only one affected, and the poison used is not easily mistaken. This was a deliberate act, an attempt to harm my client's marriage. The legal proceedings stretched over weeks, with testimonies and cross-examinations exposing the deep-seated issues within the family. Jack, torn between loyalty to his father and seeking justice for Nicole, found himself at the center of the storm. One day, as Jack and Jace discussed the ongoing legal battle, the tension between father and son reached a breaking point. Jack, I never wanted any of this. I just wanted to protect you from your mother's actions, Jace pleaded. Jack, frustrated by the revelations, retorted, Dad, protecting me meant keeping these secrets. How could you let her do this to Nicole? Jace, his voice strained, confessed, I thought I could handle her. shield you from the worst. But that was wrong. Now we need to ensure justice prevails. The courtroom drama unfolded, each session unraveling layers of deception. Nicole and Jack, united in their pursuit of justice, faced Teresa, who clung to a facade of victimhood. In a climactic moment, Rachel addressed the court, "Your Honor, Teresa's actions were not only an attack on Nicole, but a violation of trust within this family. We seek justice for the intentional harm caused." As the legal battle intensified, the fate of the family hung in the balance. The choices made within the courtroom would shape not only the lives of Nicole, Jack, and Teresa, but also the future of a family grappling with betrayal and deceit. The courtroom drama reached its climax as the judge prepared to deliver the verdict. The air was thick with anticipation, and the consequences of Teresa's actions hung over the family like a dark cloud. As the judge began to speak, the tension in the courtroom escalated. In light of the evidence presented, it is clear that the poisoning incident was a deliberate act of harm. "Teresa, you are found guilty of intentional endangerment and harm to another person." Teresa's face paled as the weight of her actions settled. Jack and Nicole exchanged a glance, a mix of relief and sorrow in their eyes. The legal battle had come to an end, but the consequences were only beginning. Outside the courtroom, a swarm of reporters awaited, eager to capture the aftermath. Jack, Nicole, and Jace navigated through the crowd, shielding themselves from probing questions. Rachel, their attorney, guided them towards a waiting car, providing a shield from the prying eyes of the media. As they drove away, the reality of the consequences began to sink in. Nicole, staring out of the window, spoke first. "I never imagined it would come to this, Jack, but justice had to be served." Jack, his mind still processing the events, nodded solemnly. "It's over, but the fallout. It's going to be hard to rebuild anything resembling a family." Jace, sitting in the back seat, spoke with a mix of regret and determination. "I should have put a stop to this a long time ago. I failed both of you." Nicole turned towards him. Her expression softened. "Jace, we can't change the past, but we can choose how to move forward. It's not too late to rebuild, but it'll take time." The car pulled into their driveway, and the family stepped out into the quiet aftermath of the storm. The neighborhood, once buzzing with gossip, now observed in hushed tones as the consequences of Teresa's actions unfolded. Days turned into weeks, and the legal consequences reverberated through the family's lives. Teresa faced imprisonment, and the family faced a painful process of healing and rebuilding trust. In a quiet moment at home, Jack and Nicole sat down to reflect on the tumultuous journey. Jack spoke with a mix of weariness and determination. "Nicole, this isn't the ending we expected, but maybe it's a chance for a new beginning." Nicole, reaching for Jack's hand, agreed. "It's going to be a long road, but we'll navigate it together. The consequences are harsh, but we can shape our own future." As the family grappled with the aftermath, the consequences of Teresa's actions continued to unfold. The legal battles had come to an end, but the emotional scars ran deep. Now, with the chapter closed on the courtroom drama, a new chapter of healing and recovery awaited. With the legal battle behind them, the family faced the daunting task of rebuilding their lives. The aftermath of Teresa's actions left scars that ran deep, but amidst the wreckage, a glimmer of hope emerged. Jack and Nicole, determined to move forward, sought therapy to navigate the emotional aftermath. Dr. Turner, a seasoned family therapist, guided them through the process of healing and rebuilding trust. In one of their therapy sessions, Jack expressed the complexity of his emotions. "I thought we were a family, Dr. Turner. But now everything feels shattered. How do we even begin to rebuild?" Dr. Turner, a compassionate presence, responded, "Rebuilding takes time, Jack. It's about acknowledging the pain and working together to create a new foundation. Trust can be rebuilt, but it requires commitment from everyone involved. Nicole, reflecting on her own journey, added, "I never expected to go through something like this. But maybe in facing these challenges, we can emerge stronger." The therapy sessions became a space for the family to share their feelings and fears. Jace, burdened by guilt, opened up about his struggles. "I failed both of you. I should have stopped her sooner." Dr. Turner reassured him, "Jace, acknowledging mistakes is the first step towards change. We can't undo the past, but we can shape a different future." As the family embraced the therapeutic process, they also faced the practical consequences of Teresa's actions. The neighborhood, once a hub of gossip, gradually shifted its focus elsewhere. The family found solace in the support of friends who stood by them during the tumultuous times. In a quiet moment at home, Jack and Nicole sat on the porch, watching the sunset. Jack spoke softly, "Nicole, I never thought our journey would take us here. But maybe in facing the darkest moments, we find the strength to build something better." Nicole, leaning into Jack, replied, "It's a new beginning for us, Jack. We can choose how to define our family, free from the shadows of the past." The family, guided by therapy and a shared commitment to healing, gradually found a sense of normalcy. The scars remained, but they became symbols of resilience rather than reminders of pain. On a final therapy session, Dr. Turner commended the family for their progress. "Rebuilding is an ongoing process, but I see a renewed sense of trust and connection among all of you. Remember, a new beginning is about the journey, not just the destination." As the family stepped into a future shaped by resilience and the pursuit of healing, the closing chapter marked the beginning of a new narrative, one that carried the lessons of the past but held the promise of a brighter tomorrow.